Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with?
And welcome everyone to the Man Cave. My name is Paul Knapp, and I will be your host for tonight's show. This is season number 1, episode number 19 already. And waiting in the green room is my friend Carl Dedrick. We met at the Gettysburg Toy Soldier Show, and we are now in collaboration with the project I'm working on, the Men of 76. So he's helping me out with that. But before we get started with our special guest tonight, I'm going to introduce my backup dancers for tonight. Starting off with this gentleman right here, Mr. Deering Studios himself, Dan DiBiase.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, man. It was nice. 2 days in a row. It was nice to see you.
I love it. It's fun.
Along with this gentleman here, my other backup dancer, Mr. Sexy himself, Mr. Rick Bradshaw. How's it going, bro?
I'm good. How's everyone?
I don't know if you had your headphones on there or something. Can you hear me?
I can hear. I can hear as well as anyone else.
All right. And we got somebody standing in. Well, no, he's been on the show. Well, I was going to say we got somebody standing in for Stacy, but not really.
No.
John. Yeah, John. John's a regular. He was just sick. He was just sick last week, so I know you're still fighting that cold, but hopefully you'll make it through the show tonight. John Salatellis is with us from Canada. How are you, sir?
Excellent.
What's up, everybody? Good to be back.
How you doing, John?
Doing great.
Good.
Yeah. So great.
And of course, we got Mr. the Padre himself from the basement, Mr. Joe Baker. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing great. Good to see everybody.
Looking good. So we got a full house tonight and a new guest. Where do you guys want to start, man? Who wants to go first?
All right, I'll go.
Alphabetical.
Hello, is this thing on?
No, I'll go. I got some stuff here.
All right. Dan, why don't you start with what's new in your zoo?
All right. It is hockey season, so I picked this up because I think it's a really cool figure. I don't know if you can see it in my light blur. Anybody familiar with Gritty? It's the mascot for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yep.
I am a Boston Bruins fan, but still, this is one cool figure. Made by, what is it? It's made in China.
Of course it is.
Oh, Imports Dragon. They make a lot of hockey stuff. They make a lot of, even actually have a hockey game. But very cool. I got that. And then I want to talk about another thing. If you watched the show yesterday, I know these aren't 132nd. I got to hold some stuff back. But
you're turning into Rick. You know that.
Wait till I see this. If anybody watched last night's show, they saw how you can dye plastics. Well, if you take the brown alien dog thing, and then you throw that in a pot of that right dye, this is what you get. These are both dyed.
So
they look good.
You use black dye on that, or
black dye. I threw them in there for about half an hour, 45 minutes. When you're talking, boiling it, you just let them simmer in there.
Yeah,
and it does that, and because if you could tell, the painted parts of it don't really dye. That's why it gives it the cool tiger stripes on it and stuff like that. I didn't paint any of that. That's just a artifact of the dyeing process.
Yeah.
But there you go. I get that, and I saved some army men from the trash heap.
Michelle D from last week says she likes your dance moves. So
Thank you. She's the only one.
yeah, well, you
like
got
them.
one follower. John, you were with us last week. How about you go next, man? What's new in your zoo? You got to have something over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything. Actually, no, I haven't gotten anything in the mail. I'm still waiting. Actually. I'm waiting for the Ken's LOD order, which actually shipped a couple of days ago. It's been a while. So I'm expecting that. And I'm going to show a picture of this. So I just wanted to say thanks to whoever, you still haven't told me the name, who it was that suggested that I look, when I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was looking for a 132 scale Stalingrad Barmalay fountain. Somebody messaged you telling me to check out
Yeah, I can't remember who that was,
Direwolf
man.
Scenics, I believe, from the UK, 3D printed, and I did. And I spoke with Paul from Direwolf Scenics, who was super nice, super helpful, and got me a 132 3D printed and painted as well fountain. I didn't get it yet. I should get it. Technically next week, but if we have a postal strike on Friday, I will get it in probably, hopefully before Chicago. So here's a picture, if you guys can see
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, with the dancing kids. Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
There you
Oh,
go.
awesome.
Yeah. So
That
this is finally in the 132 scale. Actually, between 135 132, I think, but it's big enough. And I can't wait to actually build around this. I always wanted to do a Stalingrad scene. I actually wanted to. This is not new. I got this since we're talking for Chicago, and I got these from Chicago last year. So I'm just gonna bring them up here and see if you guys can see what they are. Can you guys see them well?
That's Conte right there.
So
in
it's
front.
Conte. It's the Conte paratroopers,
Yep. Little higher.
but
Little
in
higher.
a very rare,
Yep.
light gray white paint scheme. These are actually test shots.
I was gonna say that looks like a test shot.
Yeah, these are actually test shots. And when I saw them, I go, "Oh my god,
Wow.
I gotta have
Yeah.
them." They're really, really nice and super. And thanks to the wonderful Rich Egan,
Yep.
who turned me on to this. He goes, "Hey, John, I got these. Maybe you want to take a look at them."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Sucker.
"Wow!" I'm like, "Hold them for me. I'm gonna go get money." And that's what happened. And thank you to Rich, who always comes through. And,
Rich is like Rick Eber, man. He always has that odd stuff, man. I don't know how he finds this.
Well, it's Rich Egan, not Rick.
Yeah, I
Eber.
know, but him
Oh.
and Rick Eber, they're both like
yeah,
that.
well,
Like, you know,
Rick
they
Eber was
find this
2 years
stuff,
ago.
man.
2 years ago, I was looking for for the duck, the Mark's duck vehicle,
Yep.
and I wanted to, because they don't really come in. They never recast those. It was just the original. So I go, okay, I checked them out, and I went in his room. He was there with Craig from oh my god, the Florida store.
Oh yeah, yep.
Craig Remington.
We had him on the show.
Craig Remington, yes.
Remington.
And I go, okay, I think I'm gonna pick this up. Craig, yeah, sure, no problem. So yeah, so he came through with that, and yeah, that's about it. Just to remind everybody, the books are still available.
Yep.
The Battalion 132 photo books. Anybody want a nice toy soldier, semi-historically accurate diorama?
And you can
In
sign
the-
those for people too, right? Or they're coming right from the store.
These, if I actually, I have a few here, but now with what's happening with the strike, I won't be able to send them from here. They're gonna come directly from Vista Print in the States. If you're in Chicago, I'm gonna have in Chicago for sure, along with different types of merch. So, but whoever wants to get in touch for anything, it's again just battalion132@yahoo.com.
There you
Or
go,
on
folks.
Facebook, you can message me at John Salatellis or my page on Battalion 132.
Battalion 132. Yeah, and if you're watching tonight and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to his channel.
Oh, and then there's a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
I always forget. Yeah.
Next up, we got another toy
Oh,
photographer.
wow. That looks familiar.
Hey, Joe Baker's got one of those.
familiar. Yeah.
There were some great pictures by John of the Navarone set that he just did an amazing job.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you.
Customizing and stuff. I mean, really, that book's awesome. I too don't have anything new, but what I do have is a Horses of Valor ambulance.
Oh, nice.
Dude. I don't have that one.
I've had it in the box for years.
Yeah.
It feels like you take it out of the box, you'd knock off 2/3 of its value.
Yeah.
And but this with box is really nice because it can go back in with no problem. But
Yes, that's exactly.
I don't know, Paul. I sent out on Messenger a couple pictures. Or any of those come through that you could use to show this in action?
Tonight, no, I did not. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. So they're on the playset app.
They did come through, but I can't do it now. Sorry.
No problem. I was very late tonight, so that was that's the newest thing in my zoo, I would say.
All right.
It comes in with a white cab in the back as well. And also there's another gray one with the bigger crosses, with bigger medical crosses, like one on top and whatever. Yeah.
And that same gray color? Yeah.
Well, the one that's white is gray all around, but the cab is white. I have one up there. I don't know if whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, but they're really nice, and they open up. You could put a couple of guys inside, and
yeah. Does that come with figures, Joe?
No figures, but the CTS medical team goes really well with it.
Oh yeah, I bet. Nice. All right, buddy. What you got? Anything new?
Oh, I got some great stuff.
Wait a second. We gotta. You must be mirrored again because now your tank is pointed the other way. Or did you rearrange your basement?
No, I moved everything over.
Oh wow.
Well, he's good now. Yeah.
Even the door.
I was gonna say the door too, and
I don't like this. That took a lot of work.
And you did it in 24 hours because you were just on the show last night.
Well, I'm retired. I don't care. I do whatever.
Yeah.
Is that NASCAR back behind you?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got everything. He's got all kinds of toys, man.
I got everything. How about this?
Oh, there you go. That's a big old Sherman.
Big old 118 Sherman.
Yeah.
Bravo team. Okay. You can see the hatch is open. There's no detail inside, but nice hatches.
Welded hull. Yeah.
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 M4.
Come
on, everybody's gonna chime in.
M4A3.
There we go.
Yeah, and it's got that great detail. That that great.
Yeah, you can see that like pitted.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's nice.
Did that come with figures or no?
Didn't come with figures. This is one of the reasons I bought it because it had that great textured turret.
Yeah. Have you done some photography with that? Have you used it?
I have. I just posted a picture with two 1/32 figures, and this was way in the background.
Yep, that'll work.
And I used it, so it's a nice piece.
I guess we'll keep you on the show then, since you did take a 1/32 scale picture, even though that tank isn't 1/32 scale.
Is that the only reason you want me on the show?
No,
really?
It's
okay.
It's
never mind. It's okay.
It's the bald head.
Okay. How about this? How about Joy Toy Romans?
Oh, look at that Roman.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool.
And this is Joy Toy makes, again, I've shown this before, but this was a fairly new one. And there's a Roman Republic Legion Centurion.
Yep.
Centurion. Okay. Wow. And these guys, 1/18 scale, and they're amazing detail. I'll show you one more.
I did tell Paul earlier that every man in this country thinks of the Roman Empire at least once a day. And you just proved it.
See, yep.
And here's a gladiator.
Gladiator, yeah.
Awesome.
And we know who this is kind of fashioned after, right?
Yeah.
Maximus,
yeah. And he comes with this fantastic.
Does it look like Gerard Butler under there, or no? Is it like
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, yeah, that's right.
I don't know if it does. It's just
maybe.
Still, it's a great figure, and look at this great stand that he can come with.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So that's what I got, and I have to point out, Michelle D. asked. She said, "I have 1/32 figures. How do I photograph them?" Did Joe and John, how do you photograph your 132nd figures?
Meaning, using what kind of camera or what, or angles? What are we talking
How
about?
do you how angles? How do you get them? How do you shoot those little tiny guys?
Basically, grab the iPhone and you just play around with a zoom. If you need to get, for example, if you want detail, you go far. It's just trial and error. It's nothing really. I'm not a professional photographer by any means, so I just have only used this. Everything on the book, in my dioramas, and I think everything's been done with this and with iMovie. That's how I do it. Usually the camera on the iPhone is pretty good, so it catches a lot of detail.
If you're using a camera, you can use the macro feature on your camera also. It's a little flower looking thing.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Joe? What do you think?
I just use an Android phone.
Okay.
Back in the past, I had all sorts of cameras before the quality of the telephones passed them all up.
Yeah.
And things. But for me, the whole key is being eye level.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
You're way down low. You're not the God view. The God view.
Yeah, I like to see things as if you're in the diorama as opposed to looking down at the scope of it. You have to do some of that too, but my favorite is trying to get right into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Become the shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice. Awesome. Thank you.
Very cool. Well, guys, I have one thing to talk about. Actually, two. I usually don't take time to say what's new in my zoo, but we talked last week about the Men of 76.
Yep.
Something I've been working on, and I just got two in the mail. They came out with little ones like this.
Oh.
That only had two figures in it, and there's 12 sets of these.
Oh wow.
And I hate to open these up, but I'm gonna have to, I think, for my diorama. But this one was number one. It was kneeling blue coat, standing red coat. And again, they're those swap it style figures. I don't know if you can see that in there, but
are those softer plastic as compared to the other ones?
It's soft. Yeah, they're very soft.
Oh, okay.
And then I found this one too. They came out with a box set.
Ooh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
This is Men of 76, and this one has Paul Revere in it, French soldier.
Got to go up.
Oh, kneeling blue coat, standing blue coat, and marching blue coat. So
Awesome.
how that's
Nice.
showing up, but
I've
it
never
is
seen
Men of
this before.
76 is what I'm looking for. So
If you ever get a chance, you can put some Britain Swappets with them too.
Yeah.
Those are really cool American.
yeah. So, and then as I was getting ready for the show tonight, this just came in the mail. Joe, you know what this is. You know what these two pieces go to.
Well, that's
The bridge.
Is that the two sides of the
The
concrete?
bridge. No? Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Lexington
Oh, there you
Bridge.
go.
Oh, cool.
Concord Bridge. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's going to go with the Lexington and Concord set that I bought at Gettysburg this
That's
past
awesome.
year. That the bridge did not come with it, but you can add it to the set. So I bought that for the Barzo set. So that was it for this week for me. Next week, by the way, as a reminder, we have Luciano Castellani. He is the owner of Toy Central. He's the one that does the 3D printing stuff. So make sure you guys tune in next Tuesday. But moving on to our special guest tonight, we have Mr. Carl Dedrick. How are you tonight, sir?
Good, good,
Hey, Carl.
Carl, thanks
How
for
you doing,
joining us,
Carl?
buddy.
good.
So, Carl, I just met you a couple weeks ago in Gettysburg, but you're already a pro at this Men of 76. You were giving me all kind of hints and sending me paperwork and all kind of stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
this is exactly what I needed for my video that I'm working on. So we kind of connected that way. But all your pictures you've been posting on all your sets, man, you've got a collection for years, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. I
How-
set up some mini dioramas. I think 14 or 15 of them. It's probably about 1/7 of my 54 millimeter collection.
Wow.
And I have
Like-
everything from HO all the way up to, I do have a 1/4 scale Predator. So I guess I go from
damn.
HO all the way up to quarter scale.
Holy
What's your
cow.
What's your favorite scale to collect?
Probably my favorite scale is the, 1/6. I do a lot of kit bashing on action figures, but as far as 54, it would be my Barzo French and Indian War era stuff. and Mark's Fort Apache, anything Fort Apache, anything cavalry.
So that's your favorite era as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
It goes French and Indian War, live in New York State. It's where a lot of the war was fought. Then Plains Indian Wars, then Civil War, and then Revolutionary War.
How many years would you say you've been collecting?
Well, as far as collecting, probably the late 80s. Some of the stuff I have is from my childhood, and not a lot made it because I had 3 younger brothers. So you might say I started collecting mid-60s. We were in Gettysburg on a family vacation. There was a train store there called Gilbert's store or hobby store on Steinway Avenue. And I bought my first figures that I bought were HO, and they were not Civil War. It was French Foreign Legion and the Arabs by Airfix. And, so don't ask me why. And then, of course, growing up in the country, I mean, I'm a Fort Apache guy for some reason, and I'm not complaining, but I had several sets, probably from 6, 7 years old to 10, 11. And it seemed like every year at Christmas, I got another Fort Apache set.
Wow.
So I really didn't have any of the other Mark sets myself. One of my brothers had Civil War because I know we had some, 54 millimeter Civil War stuff around, but mine seemed to be Fort Apache.
And you had to have had the Sears wish book, right? Circle the stuff you wanted.
Oh, yeah. That was
we all
big.
remember those days, man.
Big. Yep.
So, all right, guys, we're going to open it up for questions before he gives us a little room tour. If anybody has anything, anybody in the chat room wants to send anything, just let me know.
You do 1/6 stuff?
I have.
Hey, that's Monday show. He can't talk about that.
Yeah, okay, I can't talk about it. I have a
nice try, Rick.
300 or 400 1/6 scale.
Oh my word!
From ancient all the way up to modern.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Where do you live,
Carl? TP's behind you, or what scale is that?
What the TPs?
Yeah, behind you, up on the.
Those are all Johnny West scale, 1/6 scale.
Oh, those are 1/6.
Wow.
Yeah. I have a sort of a representative example of every 1/6 scale TP made, other than a couple out of Spain, which I'm having a hard time tracking down.
Oh, wow.
And most of the figures you see back there are 1/6 scale stuff I'm working on, but maybe we'll do that some night on a 1/6 scale night.
Yeah.
We'll guess who's coming to Monday?
I think we can do it tonight. Why not?
No.
I got Johnny over there. He's the guy in the yellow and the white.
Yeah.
Why not? So do you customize your figures?
Yeah, more kit bashing.
Yeah, kit bash. Yeah.
Some of as we go around, a few of my 54 millimeter, I have converted, did some converting, some I bought, but most of my 1/6 scale, I would call it more kit bashing. I have very few out of the box, the way they came to the customers.
Nice. Very cool. Nice. So, I'm going to stay with this. Do you do any celebrity military kit bashing?
No.
Okay.
I want you guys just to keep in the back of your mind through this thing at the end. Maybe you can shoot it at me, but I think from HO up to 1/6, I can cover almost every military conflict that there was.
Oh,
okay. Some
nice.
I can do at multiple scales. I like to think of myself as more of a general type person. I'm not a specific. I can't tell you every single battle on everything, but I probably can cover from either 1H up to 1/6. I have a ton of 6-inch figures. I could set up little mini dioramas, little mini conflicts with some size scale figure.
What got you into the hobby? I'm sorry.
What's that?
What got you into the hobby? Oh,
go ahead,
Joe. Go ahead. Go.
No, go. I got you in the middle. Go.
All right. What got you into the hobby?
Obviously, growing up with out in the country, we're farm kids, and the Fort Apache. I mean, everything in the shows on TV, all the black and white cavalry and cowboy and Indian movies and stuff. And so those first Airfix HO scale figures sort of got me into it. Like I said, a few figures made it from my childhood. Always been interested in military history, and in the late 80s, Atlantic, I got very interested in their HO scale stuff, and went to a lot of toy shows. There used to be Toy Shop magazine, bought a lot of stuff. Not everybody, but this man, I had this from day one, and that makes you want to get things. And then that morphed into Rusty and Kathy's playset magazine. And so a lot of my sets, my Barzo sets they're not mint in box because obviously I open them. And a few of my Mark sets are, I have the boxes, but I've never really been a box guy. So most of my play sets for most of my eras have been just picking up individual figures or sets of figures. I'm a very color conscious guy. Although I did paint a little bit in my younger years, I'm not painting anymore. Plus the paint flicks off the plastic figures. So most of my figures are color coordinated. So I try to find stuff that will work good without me painting and bring color to my dioramas.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you need playset boxes, there might be a guy on the show right here that makes them.
No, I don't have room. I know.
Just saying.
I
Just saying.
I don't have room.
I know you saw my boxes at the show, man. But,
yeah.
So.
Speaking of room, Carl, what about vehicles? A lot of vehicles?
Yes, but they're mainly 1/6, but we're not talking about them tonight.
You really want to change this show, don't you, tonight?
We're going to have
him
on Monday night.
Vehicles,
definitely.
Come on.
And HO and 54 millimeter. Most of my 54, my playset stuff, like I said, it's going to be French and Indian War, Plains Indian War, Civil War, Revolutionary War, and then I have oddball things like the 300 Spartans from Conte and
who did you use
like
for
that.
opponents?
So I do have some, to me, oddball 54 millimeter stuff, but most of my stuff is HO as far as covering a multiple of conflicts.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe.
Who did you use for opponents for the Conti Spartans?
I have you're gonna have to help me. They come in the yellow boxes. I'm at a loss for
Expeditionary
Force.
Yes.
Okay.
All their
Same here.
Yeah,
they've
that's
got a
what I
lot
use.
of them. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm still gluing some of them together.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass. Man.
You're a pain. Yeah.
In all of my, I don't know, I wish now I bought maybe the red Spartans, maybe the silver. I bought the bronze Spartans. And over the years, my bronze Spartans are sort of changing color, like bleaching out or something's happening to the colors. So they look really antique-ish. They're not the nice solid bronze that they were.
So.
I saw a post about that. So it could have been you. I'm not sure that was saying that they're was on Facebook. I can't remember which page, but that the Conti bronze Spartans were changing color.
Yeah, that might have been me. I posted some stuff about them, and
so it was you then, yeah.
Yep, and I'm not the only one. Other people are having trouble with their bronze colored ones too.
Well, I noticed my old Barzo red are turning white, and Joe, didn't you say that was something from the extruding them from the?
You said somebody said that there was the mold residue, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've cleaned mine. Mine they will clean up with just a toothbrush and water.
Oh, really?
I won't keep it from coming back. I don't want to say that it's a mold, but they do turn sort of whitish, but I just take a soft toothbrush and it gets most of it off. So I don't know if it's the mold release turning on some of them, mainly the British from it's like Last of the Mohican set and stuff. But I've had that trouble with some of my Britain Herald's cavalry figures. I got them out and I set them up for this show tonight, and the Herald ones had sort of a white residue, and they're painted, so I'm not sure what it is.
Well, you want to give us a little room tour? A little.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You're in the
Now-
you're in the man cave now, right? Or do you have a room bigger than the room?
I up until about 3 years ago, most of my stuff was in boxes. We might get it out set up on the floor and stuff. We did sort of a expansion at our house, and I put in the basement of it, I put a 24 by 30, 10-foot deep room. And so my toy room's only about 3 years old, and I didn't build it big enough.
I know.
So-
What'd you say the square footage is? What'd you say?
Well, it's 24 by 30. So
24 by 30. Okay.
Yep.
That's a nice size room, man.
Yep. So my son's sort of going to go around. We're going to flip the screen so you can see stuff. I'm just sort of going to talk about a little bit about each of the playsets. I think I set up 14 of them.
Oh, dang.
And I did not set up any Civil War. I have tons of it. I just tried to do some random things, but you're going to see U.S. Cavalry. I think there's 3 or 4 different sets, and I probably have 15 other companies' sets and stuff to do with cavalry. As far as the French and Indian War is going to mainly be Barzo play sets and other companies that will fit in with them.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try
looking forward
this.
to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Or just give them a quick room. This is my storage area. Okay. And it runs 5 or 6 deep. There's some 1/6 stuff that we're not going to look at tonight.
Yeah, don't look at that, Rick.
Yeah. And just as we're going to the HO, you were talking about some vehicles and stuff.
Oh,
I have
man.
some vehicles.
Rick,
And
we have to have a show with this guy.
Yes, we
we'll
do.
look at that. And all these white boxes are all 1/6 scale, kit bash, customized things. Very few are all the way they came. So this first set we're going to look at.
Oh.
Just quickly, I just set this up for fun because I didn't get it out on Halloween the last couple years.
There we go.
But this is the
That's,
Headless
LOD.
Horseman and Ichabod from
LOD.
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy
Okay.
Hollow, yeah.
Not what you traditionally think of as a toy soldier, but they are 54 millimeter. In the back, we have the church from my Barzo Lexington and Concord set.
Yep.
Okay. Next here is Toy Soldiers of San Diego. You can see their Custer's Last Stand
Yeah.
play set.
Wow.
Okay.
I like
And
that
those
powder
are just
blue
some
color.
random figures. You got bags and bags of figures. You got that play piece. You got cavalry. There's some additional cavalry figures. I have this custom figure I picked up online of Custer mounted.
Wow.
So it's the same
Who made that?
Custer figure, only he's mounted.
Who made that figure?
I don't know. I bought it off of eBay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And
Yep.
then they didn't have these done, but this is a couple of their mounted figures. Whoops, that they made. I already had some casualties back there. These are they're mounted, Sue, and they were not ready. They were not ready when the playset came out.
But that's still TSSD?
That's yep.
Okay.
And then there was Sue injuries or whatever you want to call them, and there's cavalry. I don't know if you can.
Yep,
hold
I remember
one of these
those.
up. They made.
And he made those in dark blue too, didn't he, Joe?
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Not sure.
No.
No,
dark
not
blue. I
this
think
company.
Mark's recast are dark blue. I believe.
Yeah. Paragon made figures in dark and a medium blue, but I don't know about Toy Soldiers of San Diego. And then just a couple other things. I'm just going to hold this up. This lays flat, but this is a dead horse
Yep.
barricade. And then Paragon came out with some mounted figures that blend and dismounted. Here's their dismounted figures. And they fit in well, well with that. Am I blocking it? Am I blocking you guys?
Just a
No.
shadow is all.
No,
No.
you're looking good.
Great.
And they came with some mounted figures. And so they fit well with the toy soldier, San Diego's Custer's Last Stand. And we're not going to fight with him. And then another thing, this came as an add-on, and this is Reno's Hill.
Wow.
So that wasn't a box set. That was just
That did not come in the box set. The last few figures I showed you in these things did not come in the box set. You could order it at the same time.
Yeah.
But it did not come in Custer's Last Stand.
Huh.
Okay, and that's Reno. And I use these landforms. They work excellent with my HO scale figures too.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I got some French Foreign Legion. That building is the Airfix Desert Outpost. Nice. I painted it. You got some Mark's trees. You got some sand dunes from. It was a little model kit of the desert. Oh geez.
Was it Anzio Beach or the Rat Patrol?
What is that?
Was it Anzio Beach or Rat Patrol?
Yes, the Rat Patrol. And I picked them up at a miniature wargaming convention for like 25 cents each, and I grabbed them right off.
Deal.
You got
I didn't know what they were.
Palm trees, Conte French Foreign Legion, and then we have the Conte Arabs. They call them two legs or true legs or something, whatever. And then I also Armies in Plastic, some mounted figures and foot figures.
I just did a video on AIP, man. I like their stuff. I mean, everybody.
So do I.
Some of it's not bad. Some of it's sort of weak in the detail, but they're not bad. Okay,
like
this one's
mounted
going to take just a little bit of time here. Can you shoot just the overall?
So Mark here said TSSE also made the cavalry figures in medium blue and Confederate gray.
Okay, they might have. Well, I know they did the gray because they made Confederate. You know, they wanted them to be able to be like Civil War figures. And there's another couple. There's another couple mounted sets of figures that I didn't put out now that make their different poses and make your cavalry even bigger that they put out after the fact.
Oh, okay.
This is my childhood here. Basically, you got the March Ford Apache. You know, it came in a whole bunch of different varieties.
Oh yeah.
I think my oldest son, who's holding a camera right now, was over playing in the sandbox, and one of my younger brothers, back in the '60s, got a play set, and I felt bad for him because his play set didn't come with a fort, and I felt really bad because all my play sets came with a fort, and of course none of us knew who Custer was or Custer's Last Stand or anything. But they were over playing in the family sandbox when he was younger, 35 years ago or so. And they dug out this figure, and this is one of the reverse colored Revs that only came in Custer's Last Stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that looks like Custer in the doorway there, is it?
Yeah, we'll get to him in a second.
Oh man, you killing me.
Okay. So they started out, first of all, the very first Fort Apache was Fort Dearborn. It was sort of a metal fort. And it came with these. Whoops, I did knock some stuff off. It came with these guys right here. Okay, and they're sort of the Fort Dearborn Cavalry. They're 45 millimeter. Then they went to the plastic fort. They called it Fort Apache Stockade. It came with these bigger 60 millimeter figures. It came. Here's the Rin Tin Tin. Okay, there was a Rin Tin Tin set. I had all these sets. Rusty is supposed to have a rifle. I don't know what happened to it. And then later it came with a 54 millimeter Pioneers. Of course, you got the Dead Horse, which you can use Civil War or Cavalry. Okay. Back up here, this Custer figure is sort of an elusive figure to get.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I found him probably 15, 20 years ago in a metal Fort Apache carry-all set.
Ah, dude.
In which I paid about, I don't know, not too bad money for it, you know. In here you can see there, you know, they come with cannons, pack horses. These are all 54 millimeter. I bought these from, I think it's Gary is it Ducko or Duco or whatever from the Gettysburg area?
Yep. Gary.
Okay, here is the standard shooting, and I have about 30 of his figures. That's a standard shooter. And this is some of his custom where he took different legs and stuff. So it's the same top body.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and I have a bunch of them on there too. I'm not sure how we're doing for time.
You got all the time you need, bro.
Okay. And you also got these little, these come in black or silver. You'd get these little accessories, and that's how Mark kept the piece count up. I think there was 50 of these little things on a sprue, and so if their place that had 175 already, they could say 225 pieces.
Yeah.
They give you all these little odd things. Oh, guys, did well, I'm going to leave them falling down, and I'll just talk about them.
You're fine. Hey,
okay.
You got 30 people in the chat room watching. I think their mouths are just open. They're not asking questions.
This
They're
is
just
the Rebel Fort Apache Cavalry. Okay.
Yep.
And these guys right here are they came out. This is the Fort Apache. It's the Long Coat Cavalry.
Yep.
The giant Fort Apache.
Yep. And I read this somewhere, and I tried it, and it does work. One thing is these figures here, they gave you another 5 or 6 of these rider figures, and they didn't do anything, right?
Yep.
And same when they come out with the long coat, except for someone said the sword from that accessory set fits into the long coat's hand.
Huh.
And which it does. So if you want to give your guys some swords, you can. Here's some early 60 millimeter of figures. They would have come with a Rin Tin Tin, okay, or the other 60 millimeter stuff.
Yep.
You see the horses are fatter stuff. These guys here, and I'm sorry I knocked them over, but I'm just going to try to stand a couple up. These are some figures I painted years ago when I could paint. So they're the same figures.
Yep.
Okay, just painted.
7th Cav, yeah.
But that's years ago. Okay, swinging around to the end. I have just some random sampling of the 60 millimeter Indians, and they would have come with the Rin Tin Tin and the 60 millimeter, and I also threw. Now for a lot of these Indians, I have probably 7 or 8 other companies Indian figures too. I didn't put them out here, but here's some company that came out of Russia or something. I don't even know what they are, but they're 60 millimeters, so I can probably put 70 to 100 and some 60 millimeter Indians if you're setting up a diorama. We got the
you're not hey Carl, you're not a purist though, right? We can mix vintage with newer stuff, right?
Oh sure, yeah.
Okay, because some guys are all vintage and some guys are all.
The cavalry's pretty set because other people's cavalry really doesn't blend with the marks, but I have. Well, I didn't put my Airfix out, but I have Airfix. I have a Paragon. I have a bunch of other companies, 60 millimeters, 54. Here you got some random 54 millimeter Indians. Okay. Then we come to the 45, the smaller guys. There's actually some horses that are specific to these smaller guys. I just don't have them. And then I got this from Toy Soldier headquarters years ago. I don't even know who made them now, but it was some little Indian family in white. And they're about 54. And then moving on from there, if you see these figures right back here, these white figures and these Indian figures, the white figures somebody did years ago, and they are downsized 60 millimeter figures of the Mark's 6-inch figures.
Huh.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. So they're very hard plastic. I didn't try painting them. I wished I bought more of them, but you can see that each of them are a downscale of their 6-inch figure.
I've never seen those before.
They're a little bit big, usually, except for that one pose he showed.
Yeah.
And then this here is a company, and someone might know who these are, but
Rubenstein.
This company made
Rubenstein, yeah.
Rubenstein, okay, 54 millimeter of the 6-inch figures.
Yep, I have a set of those. Those are nice.
And I have a bunch of them, and of course they mix in perfect with the Marks figures.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions so far?
Oh, dude. Like I said, we got 30
Great
some
stuff.
people watching right now, and
Is
I think they're just mesmerized.
are we doing a good job though of showing you stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Now
Bill,
for some.
No, Bill,
Bill
it's not.
Molyneux wants to know: do you paint them? But
No,
you
he
already
doesn't.
answered that. You said no. You don't paint them anymore.
I did years ago, but I'm not painting anything anymore.
Right on.
You know what I mean?
So what about when you try to make color matches? Do you just you don't do it, right? If
No,
it
I
doesn't
don't
come
do
in
it.
that,
What I'm saying is, if I got turquoise, okay, I would mix the turquoise Calvary with powder blue Calvary, stuff like that. But I'm not going to have any blue Indians.
yeah, but
Okay?
you're not even going to paint the turquoise powder blue to match the other ones, right? You just leave it what it is. Yeah,
No. They
yeah.
just blend up. In fact, when I was a kid, I got a set, and boy, this has got to be the mid '60s. And my set actually had three different. It had Rin Tin Tin as the 60 millimeter figures. It had the 54 millimeter Pioneer, and it also had these Fort Dearborn Calvary all in one play set. So March didn't care about scale and size apparently, and they just mix the stuff up. But no, I am not a purist. I just try to have my Calvary guys be blue, and my Indians. You can see I got yellow Indians. There's brown. Well, I stay away from black figures. They're hard to see the detail on black. But no, not a purist.
Cool. Hey, we got a comment from the chat room. It's about your cameraman, and he said he needs some work.
Okay, does he?
Some guy named Cullen. Yeah, he said.
Oh, that's my youngest son.
He said you're doing a good job, Dad, but your cameraman sucks.
Yeah, no, that's my youngest son. Okay, here's something that you don't see every day. I have an Aliens playset from the movie Aliens.
Nice.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, and it came with 7 aliens. It came with this playset. It come with 6 of 9 Colonial Marines. There's no Ripley figure. There never was. And you had to buy what they call blind packaging to get the other 3 figures, the 2 Smart Gunners and Hicks. And I think I bought about 6 or 7 blind packs to be able to get those other 3 figures.
Wow.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah, and I think they also made a Terminator playset. They were Treehouse Kids, and they were in 2004, and all of a sudden they were gone. But sort of a set you don't see every day.
Very nice.
It's a cool diorama. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Okay, back to some more Calvary. These are Britons. The Indians are outnumbered. I only have 6 Indians. But if you see over here, these are the older ones. They're called the Britain Heralds. They're from 73 to 76. They were made in Hong Kong. And these are the ones that I told you, Paul, the other day when I got them out. They had sort of a white film on now.
Yeah.
But I took a soft toothbrush to them. And then a few years later, they come out with what they call their detail line. So those are the Britain Detail Calvary.
Yep. And those had metal bases, right?
These have the detail have metal bases, and the Heralds have plastic bases. And then of course the 6 Indians are detailed. These are not the very first run of the details, was around 78. These got to be more like 86, 87, 88. Because my son Chris, who's the cameraman, he has a set of them too. So they're not the original first year they came out.
Yeah. But they're not swap-it style.
Oh, we got them. No, they're not. Well, they're not swap-its, but they've been glued together. Their arms, some are solid. Some have arms that are sort of glued to let them get the more detailed shots for, holding rifles and things like that.
Huh.
And of course, if you notice, almost all the Calvary figures you're ever going to see, they have swords. And we know that in the Plains Indian Wars, most of the time their swords were left at home. But for some reason, when the companies are making cavalry, you think sword, and swords were used a lot in the Civil War, but not too much out in the plains anymore. But those are all. Yep.
You got a question from Patrick. He likes the desert bushes. Who makes those?
Oh, these or these?
Yeah, both.
Well, these are from. Oh, geez. You know what? I have so much stuff running through my head.
It's all right, man.
Oh boy.
Like Pegasus, but I don't think they are.
Yes. They're the Pegasus
Oh, they are? Okay.
small cactus, and I use those all the way from this size to HO. I did a jungle series last week with Tarzan and HO, and I use them all the way up. These bigger ones and stuff all the way up as grass and little cactus stuff with my 1/6 Johnny Weston Western figures. Nice. So a lot of this stuff really can be used for multiple scales, but yes, it is Pegasus.
Yep.
Okay, something else probably don't see a lot, but they're right in the scale. These are armies of Middle Earth. I got Warg Riders, and I got Rohirrim Riders.
Nice.
Lord of the Rings.
Wow, I didn't know they made that scale.
And they are about 54 millimeter.
Are they movable or is they stationary?
No, they're stationary. I mean, the riders come off.
Yeah.
They're stationary, but if you look at take away the two character figures, that flag come from a foot figure, and one of these guys are the standard figure because they had one horse. I heated the heads up and bent some heads left, some heads straight, and I took their foot figures and cut them at the belt, and took the top half of the foot figures and mounted them to the bottom half of the riders to give me variety. So you would normally in the pattern, you would only have 1, 2, and I don't know which is their normal, 3 riders. The rest are all foot figures that I've cut off at the waist and put on the riders the lower thing.
Oh,
nice.
They come painted like that. Oh, nice.
Yep, and they come painted like that. And I also have a Helm's Deep. I thought about getting that out, but that's pretty extensive because I probably have maybe 200 to 250 figures for that Helm's Deep thing.
Wow.
And that's sort of an undertaking of its own.
And you'd say they're pretty close to 54 millimeter, huh?
Oh, yes, they are. They are.
Yeah. Wow.
Tiny bit larger, but
Well, depends. Not any larger than the 60 millimeter. Really,
yeah, probably 60
mil. Guys. I mean, basically the same.
yeah, they're 60.
60 mil.
Yeah,
Still, that's pretty sweet, man. 60.
Yeah.
And I have a few hundred of figures from that set.
Hey, you got another question from the chat room? Ronald McDonald
Okay.
wants to know, what's your oldest figure? Would it be the ones from your childhood, probably, or do you have something older?
Well, certainly that one figure I showed you, that reverse reb that's blue.
Yeah.
Probably. And, of course, all that Fort Apache stuff is all old from the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, the tin litho. Yeah.
But so is my Johnny West figures are from the 60s,
Yeah, well, that's next Monday. You put that
Yeah,
away.
that's next Monday. Okay. Let's go on here. Okay. We got the Alamo, by Marks. I did a big one for the anniversary, and I probably had maybe a couple hundred Mexicans and maybe 50, 60 defenders. I just did a random sample. Right now we got CTS. And I have them in different color. And then you got your Marks, 54 and Marks, and you got the sombrero hats. And I also modified this tin, and there's a plastic gate that I used in my last one.
Oh, yeah.
Oops, sorry.
That's a classic toy soldier ramp there.
Yes, It is.
CTS ramp.
And if you go back on the anniversary on a lot of the sites, I had a big one, and I used to teach school, and I had a shear and box and pan break. So I took some extra tin walls and made some other buildings. And I also cut some of the new, because this came out maybe 15 years ago. They redid it, and I figured they were cheap wall stuff. I cut them down, and I have an HO Alamo that looks the same thing. It's a Marks Alamo, just it's cut down. I sheared it down, rolled it over, and made it for my HO scale figure.
Very cool.
Nice.
Great idea.
Okay. Now we got a little battle of San Juan Hill. The thing that always sticks in my mind about this, and I forget his name, but the Secretary of War at the time, and maybe somebody remembers, but he called it a splendid little war. You know, He went to war. The war was over in about around a year, maybe a little less, a little more. But this is a set, and again, if I was to set this up full, it would fill up my whole ping pong table, my 5 by 10 foot.
Wow.
I just have a ton of Spanish, a ton of Americans. I try to make. Go on.
Well, those look like all BMC right there. Do you have others?
No, you're using armies in plastic as well,
This
correct?
is BMC, the Buffalo Soldiers, 10th Cavalry. Okay.
It's got to be armies in plastic as well.
Okay. This is not. This looks like BMC, but it's not. I have the same guy in blue. This is Victory Buy, and actually, if you can see, when they redid these Victory Buy, can you see that the figures are more detailed?
The tan is more detailed?
Yeah, the tan is more detailed. So when he redid them, something about the molds were destroyed. I don't know, but they redid it. And the owner of, and you guys had him on your show, Paul, a few weeks ago. But when they redid this, so this is BMC, this is Victory Buy.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody thinks the same. And then you made the comment about there's also this is Victory Buy. And this is BMC, and it's hard to see, but the regular BMC, the Victory Buy, even the Spanish are a little more detailed on the Victory Buy figures. And then all these other ones, all these other blue ones are armies in plastic.
Yeah.
So it's really made up of, armies in plastic. And then, of course, we have the Victory Buy Teddy.
Yep.
And he's more detailed than the BMC version. You got the armies in plastic Teddy.
Yep.
And I bought this even though I know Ted didn't ride his horse up the hill at San Juan Hill. But this is the marked 60 millimeter Teddy Roosevelt. And someday I will get them all set up again and, take pictures. Okay? What time we got? What time is it?
Dude, you got as much time as you need. It's almost top of the hour, but
okay, we'll get moving a little quicker here. We got a couple Mark's play sets. There's some originals. There's recasts. You got Johnny Tremaine figures. These were serial premium figures. These white ones. And then you got, of course, you got Paul Revere heading out. And the rest are mixture. I don't even know if these are original or recast. I got some 60 millimeter in with the 54. These were Soldiers of the World. And, of course, got the cannon, stuff like that. Got a cow and a pig and things in the back there. But that's so Revolutionary War and Johnny Tremaine sets. That's the stuff you would have in there. Okay. Barzell Battle in New Orleans. I set up a little diorama here. When I set it up for the anniversary, it filled the whole table. I have 4 of these barricades, and they probably run about 8 foot of the 10-foot table.
Who made that barricade? Was that TSSD?
No, this is Barzell's Battle in New Orleans. Yep. There's one like this, and there's a different one, and I have 2 of each, so it makes sort of long barricade. This is that, and I already forgot that company, but this is an officer from that.
Those are CTS, aren't they? The Hessians?
No. You have to put them together. The same.
X-Force.
Expeditionary Force.
Same company that made the Persian.
Yeah, Expeditionary Force. Yeah.
That you got Expeditionary Forces. These are all Barzell. You got Jackson back there.
That rocket launcher, that's Barzell, right?
Yep, that's Barzel. Everything's Barzel except for this officer and Warhorse Miniatures. The pack train is that's a beautiful pack train.
Oh yeah, I bought that at Gettysburg
has
this
one
year.
too, but that was made by Warhorse Miniatures. And
Yep.
you're going to see a little more of their figures coming up. And then a couple years ago when I did my first setup, post online, people were criticizing that I didn't have the alligator. And so I found an alligator a couple of years ago. Usually I hide them more because this year people were asking, where's the alligator? And so I had him sort of hidden in the swamp. You see more Pegasus cactus.
I already blew his mind.
What's that?
Carl, I'm liking that mat that you have it on. What is that? Just a tablecloth or what?
That's a piece of material from Hobby Lobby. All my ground cloths are.
Oh wow.
I just go look at the materials, and if I find something, my desert ground cloth over the aliens is just a piece of material that somebody would make stuff out of.
Nice.
And I just buy them, and they make nice ground cloth.
Oh yeah, I like that green. That's nice.
Okay, here's one Paul will like.
Yeah, I'm jealous. That's what I'm trying to create right now.
Okay, Mena 76. They made this fort. I use it as my Fort Ticonderoga. I bought a busted up fort, and you can see my fort is double the width. Normally this other end would end here, but it makes my fort a lot bigger. I use a couple Barzel stone houses, and that's my Fort Ticonderoga. I have most of my French out, but not all of them. The French only come in one package. Package number 7 on the carded set.
Yeah, and, I'm learning that now from you.
Yep, these are all Mena 76. I did throw Britons in.
Yeah, but they go nice with that. Yeah.
A Temple. Okay, in the Temple they're all Swappets. But they blend in. You can see actually the Temple is not as nice as the Mena 76.
Yeah, they're kind of plain, aren't they?
Yep, and then I think the earlier ones were a little painted a little more. The Britons are really nice. Just before we move on, a couple things. They sold 10 different sets on cards back at Shell gas stations back in 75 and 76. And that little baggie you showed, those were freebies. There was 12 of those. And they were freebies depending on how much gas you bought. And I don't know how much gas was back in 75, but it wasn't like today. But let's say you bought $2 worth of gas, maybe you got a free little 2-pack baggie. The ones on the cards you had to buy, and I'm not sure what they went for.
Paul in the chat room wants to know about the Star Fort. That was also
Mena 76.
Mena 76.
Yeah, this is
right?
Mena 76. This is called Fort Liberty as far as Mena 76. I use it for my Fort Ticonderoga.
But that's hard plastic. I like mine. It's pretty solid.
The brown ones are soft plastic, and the hard ones are like styrene, like a model airplane.
Yep.
And of course, there's Native Americans, and I have enough of them. I can steal guns and give my Native Americans stuff. And I think I hid here. Here is what one of the. This is a Britain's colonial. And you can tell whether you got your figures, Paul, from the card set or from the baggie. The card set, their guns go through a hole drilled in their hand, in their left hand.
Yeah.
And the ones from the baggies just sort of have a cupped hand, and the quality's not as nice as the ones on the cards.
Huh. All right.
Okay.
Put that into my video. Yes, sir.
We got just 2 more things. This is my favorite era. French and Indian War. Let's sort of start here. I just have the Longhouse from Last of the Mohicans, some Last Mohican Indians, some Mark's Corn, some accessories. Mike at Warhorse Miniatures made this set. He is selling it. You can see there's a what do you want to call it?
Jesuit.
A Jesuit. And I have another Jesuit that he made me that's got his hands up and stuff like that. I asked him to print that for me in gray or black because normally they would be the same color. as these guys. In the character figure, I had him do it in a opposing color just to set them off some. If you notice, they blend really well with the Barzo.
Oh yeah, they're real nice.
On the back, Clift, we have LOD made these in blue, but Barzo made them in blue too. Mine actually are Barzo originals in blue that I bought from Ron. And you got Magua here, and he's original. And then this guy, all these would normally be this tan color, and they brought out him in LOD, made him in red. So I just gave a random, set those up. Very nice figures. This here, I just tried to, there's a force going through the woods. They're just about ready to have more fun than they realize. This drummer I bought it at a Toy Soldier show. It's been painted. I'm not sure of the maker, but whoever painted it, it blends in not too bad. For a drummer, this is the Colonel from Lexington and Concord. He was gray in my set. LOD produced him in red, so I put him as their officer. And all the Barzo, what do you want to call them, sort of brownish red figures, I use as my Mohawks. Remember I talked about the color coordination? So they are my Mohawks, and they're with the British. And then this color is with the French-backed Indians.
And the trees there, are they Barzos? Or
those are Barzo trees.
Okay.
Yep. Some came with a play set, and I bought a bunch of them back when they were readily available. Actually, I brought back all but the ones from the play set from the Chicago show years ago.
Nice. Well, dude, that's an awesome playroom you got, bro.
What's that?
That's an awesome man cave you have there. I don't know how often you change out the table in the middle, but
yeah. Can I just show you one? Do we have time just to look at two more figures, a couple more figures?
You know what? You are good until Rick's medication kicks in. So
okay,
Rick is still with us. Rick is still awake, so you are good to go.
If you can see this here, this is Braddock, which came in the play set.
Yep, General Braddock.
But they also, LOD did, it's called From the Vault, some figures that didn't get produced.
Yep.
And this is a figure that LOD did that Barzo wanted to do, but he never did do it. And it goes with him, and he's getting shot up close. Okay. Here's another one from the Barzo Vault. This is an Indian that didn't get produced. And you have him leading Cora and Alice. And you're supposed to get a little piece of rope or whatever and hook those guys together.
Yeah.
Okay? And then the next little vignette here is from Warhorse Miniatures. Okay? You got a guy carrying a wounded guy. You got a guy ready to have a headache. And this guy's ready to get a haircut. Okay. And then you got this little trading type thing here where there's some stuff on there. I think he did it same with the Plains Indian Wars, except for it's something different on the blanket. So those two are from Warhorse Miniatures. They're a really nice set.
Wow.
Okay, and then to finish off, just quickly here, some more armies of Middle Earth. I think these are really cool, but they only made 3 mounted, but the ring race mounted on horses.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what company was that again?
It's Armies of Middle Earth. It was by Play Along Toys, I believe they were called.
And who sold those? Was it a Toys R Us thing, or was it a
Target? Yeah, they were at Toys R Us. You could buy them online. A lot of stores carried them. A lot of the
God, I do not remember them.
Walmart had them.
They started in 203, but like Borders, Barnes and Noble, they were at Toys R Us, and there's just tons of them. I just got out a couple of random samples.
Wow. Well, I think you got a lot of people that are going to be hitting Hobby Lobby tomorrow. And I think you got guys like me. They're going to start picking up some Lord of the Rings stuff pretty soon, man.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about those is they're already painted.
Oh
So
yeah, they're
all you
beautiful.
got to do is, the thing is, they're not cheap because obviously they've been out of production now almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anybody selling them on eBay and stuff are trying to get a premium price. But I was at one of the Gettysburg Toy Soldier shows a few years ago, and a guy was selling his Helm's Deep play set and a lot of the figures at for like $250, and they didn't last. I don't think they were out on the table 15 minutes, and someone bought everything.
Oh, I'm sure, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I'll have to get mine out.
But that's about it. I don't know. Let me see what time it is.
No,
Looks like
you're
I've
good
been
on
about
time.
10 minutes over.
It's
So-
still like 5 o'clock in Canada, right, John? Or I mean,
So
Yeah.
that's what I got for tonight.
No, it's 9:15.
You know,
well, Carl, man, that's been awesome, dude.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
What
you.
a collection, and that's only a taste of your collection, I'm sure, right?
yes, it is. Yes, it is. I could easily do that 3 or 4 times without using the same stuff. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I'm speaking for everybody when I say, when can we come over and play?
Yeah. Okay.
Just post your address somewhere, and we'll all be over there, man.
Okay.
So, well, man, I tell you what, you got 30-some people still in the chat room. They're just they're not asking questions. I think they're just amazed at your collection. So
Yeah, it
that's
took me.
awesome.
I would say I worked down. My wife would say I worked down here a lot longer than I did, but I didn't really think. I just got the, what do you want to call it? As I come to the easiest play sets, I grabbed the box and started setting up. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
I
lot
was
of
going to
work
put
you
a
did.
table against the other wall and do some Civil War and stuff. And I'm like, I already got more than I can talk about. And
Now, the last photo thing that you put on the Facebook page was Alamo, though, right?
the
you had a
last one, well, I did a lot of HO stuff. My last one was about the Dark Continent. It was HO. I try to do 2 things. I'll like the Alamo. It might be a static type thing. I did one using Barzo and Warhorse miniature figures. It was a 5-part series. Like a month ago or so, it started out with an Indian village, somewhere in Canada. And then you had some Indians leaving to go on the warpath. And then I showed a Barzo cabin and some stuff like a scene you would have seen in the Hudson Valley up Lake George area. And then, of course, they got attacked and there was no survivors. And the last one was the neighbors showed up, but it's too late to help. And the very last shot was I just had everybody's gone except for a couple wolves.
Where did you post these?
I'm on a whole bunch of things. I mean, unpainted plastic. I always, because they will do HO or 54. So I'm on there. The Barzo playset site would be on there. On Mike's site, Warhorse Miniatures, that whole story's on there because I used his figures too. And then there's other ones. I can't think of them. I think there's several, at least 7 to 10 sites. A couple are HO or 172nd only, but nowhere near the caliber of Joe's work. I mean, the playset attic, I've been looking at that stuff for years and drooling. That's really nice work. I try to do stuff that other than the ground cloth that I for the material, I try to do stuff that color coordinated, and I use Mark's rocks and other stuff. I pick stuff up at wargaming conventions that I can use. And that wall or that cliff scene from Barzo, I use it extensively in my Plainsman series of my custom Johnny West Frontiersman, because I lay the rock down. And I use that rock laid down for my Lewis and Clark HO series. It looks like they're on big rocks because they're only HO figures.
Yeah, really.
Excellent.
Goes either way. I got one more question from Ray McCarthy. Wants to know, does anybody miss Toy Shop Magazine?
Oh, yes. Yes, it was one of the greatest things. All my early stuff came from either vintage toy shows or toy shop. Yep. It was sad. I mean, I used to get it back in the 70s when it was just or early 80s when it was like a big thick newspaper.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
It wasn't the Toy Shop Magazine that it ended up being more of a magazine type thing. It was a big, almost like your weekly penny saver, but really thick. And boy, I should have bought everything in there.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna,
absolutely.
I would buy a figure for $3 or $4 because I wasn't gonna pay $7 or $8 for the boxed figure. And now I wish I'd bought every boxed figure I could have found.
Well, hey man, we're gonna have to have you back on again. If it's not on this show, we're definitely gonna have you back on the 1/6 scale show.
Okay.
That's all right.
Please,
Okay, well,
please.
Thank you for
I know
having me
Rick's
on.
nipping at the bud to see what's in all those boxes you have back there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that ends our show. Do you want to tell people where they can find you? I guess you don't have a YouTube channel, but you got you're on Facebook. You just said you're on a bunch of those Facebook pages.
Yeah. If you go to like as far as the playset stuff, unpainted plastic, Barzo, there's a bunch of them that cater to,
Yeah. No, I'm on a lot of those same ones. Yeah.
I don't know why I just didn't do this just quicker.
No, that's all right, dude. And you're gonna be in the video that I'm making too for Men of 76. So
yeah, it's sort of I have never found out who made the figures. Innovative Productions was just a company that somehow partnered with Shell Oil, to celebrate the bicentennial with those figures. A lot of people think they're Britons, but they're not.
No, and they were made in Hong Kong, so it says
they're
on the
not
back.
Britons, and I think they're a higher quality than the Temple figures.
Yep.
So.
Well, hey, thanks again, brother, and don't forget next week we got Luciano from Toy Soldier Central. So, Joe, I know you were asking questions about 3D printing and stuff, so you got to catch next week's show. Everybody, have a great week. Thanks for watching the show. Appreciate your help, guys, and my backup dancers for tonight. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Oh, great show tonight. Thank you, Carl.
Yep,
Thanks, Carl.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. No.